be this would be good after this, but it's a joke, so I'll share it later.
Okay. We do remember that we are taping this, and it will be put on YouTube. I'm not kidding you. It will be. So if you don't have anything you want to share for the whole world, probably ought to wait.
Direct confessions. Okay.
Well, that may be something one of the characters future forums too, as to whether or not we want it like
Well, I was going to make an announcement, but then people came straggling in, and we didn't get it done. It is important to put up on. Well, it is important, and we do need to make that abundantly clear. Okay.
Yeah, Ron, I do have something to share.
Uh-huh.
And this is, I've not had a near-death experience, although I did come close to dying. And that was 2 years and 4 months ago when I had my fall off of my ladder. And what was happening, I was standing on a ladder at the 8-foot level, trying to step off of a roof of a walk-in. Mm-hmm. And the ladder started to twist and go sideways because it was kind of broken at the bottom. And since then, that ladder's gone. But as I started to fall off of the ladder, I said, well, if I kick myself away from the ladder, then I'll land on my feet, right? Well, I didn't. I kicked the ladder away from me and landed flat on my back. And the guy, my helper that was there, watched me do it, and he says, I just went like this and went bang and bounced off of the ground. So, and my first recollection was laying there, and I guess maybe I'd been unconscious for just a little bit. I've had a longer period of unconsciousness before, but just a little bit. And I start waking up, and all I can see is just through my two eyes. I mean, everything else is totally isolated. I couldn't feel anything. And I said to myself, my God, this is what it feels like to be totally paralyzed. And fortunately, within about 20 seconds, certain parts of me started to come back to life. But from that experience, I got a profound respect for you and your condition and what you've done to overcome it, and other people that have been in the same thing. And to come back from even further, come back from death, and come back and be of service and be active in all of our lives. I'm really pleased to have you as a friend.
Well, thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, we could probably wrap it up. And does anybody have anything that they'd like to share? Yes, Marianne. Just get her. Who's got the microphone?
This is just very short, but I read a book on NDEs several years ago. In fact, I read several books, but in this one, I read about this 12-year-old who drowned and died and came back, and someone asked him what he had learned from the experience, and he said, life is a lot simpler than people think. It's all about love. So.
That's good. That's good. There is is it still on? There's an abundance of material in books and on the internet about NDEs, and if you have any curiosity about it, I encourage you to look on there. And there's lots and lots of stuff. The Coast to Coast show, the George Norrie, the old Art Bell show, they have shows about NDEs all the time. 3 days ago, they had a lady on there that had written several books and interviewed thousands of people. So there's lots and lots of information, and I guess because there's lots of technology is bringing people back that used to would have died, and so that's probably a big thing. Also, people today, I think, are more open. Our whole society is more open to to people sharing than holding stuff in. Anyway, we wanted to have this forum, so if anybody wanted to come and share, that they would have a place to do that, a venue, and that's what this church is all about. It's all about coming and sharing that love that we were talking about, Marion, and every story, everything. And I don't want you to think that I didn't think that your story wasn't valid. It was just different, okay? And every story that was told tonight is absolutely valid, and no one there was no one better than another one. They were all pertinent, and they were all in a spirit of sharing, and that's what we like to do here. So I think that's probably going to be it. So thank you all for coming out tonight. What is it, Midge? Are you just waving goodbye?
No, thanks, Richard. Longevity came up, and to me, I'm almost 94, and I don't feel it, and I hope I don't sound it or act too ancient, but I think longevity is here. And for years and years, we've had people writing into articles, newspapers, magazines, saying, what do you have to do to live longer? I don't think we need that question anymore. I think the question, if there is a question to ask, it's how do you live when you're elderly? And what have you learned about it? And to me, I go back to the Bible where Jesus is asked, what's the greatest commandment? And the answer in very simple words is, love God, love each other. And I think that's the guide that we all need for life.
Yeah, you know, the trick to longevity, don't die. So it's as simple as that. Anybody else? All right, we're going to shut it down. Thank you all for coming out. We're going to try to do this again in about a year. And I tell you what, I'm going to try to get a benefactor of this thing, a guy by the name of Daniel Brinkley, who was here, who helped us to gather the money to do this. He had such dramatic experience that they made a movie about his yeah. And I just didn't have time to get in touch with him, and I'll try to get him next year, and maybe we can advertise that. We can have this could be a growing thing. So, all right, it was absolutely a success in my opinion. It was great. Thank you. How do you turn this off?